everyone. Today we're going to be looking at mapping the Plaster Creek watershed. So that means we are going to try to draw the divide around Plaster Creek right here. That kind of shows all the land area where if rain or precipitation falls onto it, that rain or precipitation will eventually end up in the Plaster Creek, okay? All right, so you will need a pencil, maybe something with color in it. You can use highlighters or colored pencils, kind of whichever works best for you. We also will need at the end some string and some scissors, and that will help us find out how long Plaster Creek actually is. All right, so starting with step 1 on your instructions, it says using a colored pencil or highlighter, trace Plaster Creek and its tributaries. Those are the creeks and streams that are connected to Plaster Creek. So here we're going to find the main channel here of Plaster Creek. I'm going to start up here by the Grand River and just trace it. I'm using a blue highlighter. Blue just reminds me of, rivers and streams. All right, so I'm doing the main channel of Plaster Creek and all those little streams and other creeks that are kind of connected to it. Again, those are called the tributaries. They contribute to Plaster Creek. So just kind of anything connected to this main channel here. If I kind of show you the main channel. All right. And any other little river or stream. All right, so I have some that are coming off over here and over here, here. There we go, down to Dutton. You see, like there's the airport right here, so Plaster Creek actually reaches to the airport. Calvin College over here. We're going down south here all the way, so go ahead and trace that. All right, so now we know where Plaster Creek is. All right, step 2, we're going to outline the Plaster Creek watershed. I'm going to use a pencil to do this with an eraser just in case I make a mistake, and then I'll go back and put color on it. So outline the Plaster Creek watershed by drawing a line that represents the divide around Plaster Creek and its tributaries to the Grand River. All right, so the divide is this high area of land. A couple rules with this is, 1, you can't cross a river or stream, you must go around it. So you're going to think of this like a maze. So I'm going to start up here, all right, kind of over here, and I'm going to go around, all right, this Plaster Creek. And once I get here, I'm going to go across the roads, but you can see where this river system is here. I can't cross it, so now I have to go in between. I think this is the Thorn Apple River system over here. And then I'm going to kind of look and again go in between. I can't cross a river or a stream or a lake. Okay, you got to go in between. All right, so now I'm going down here. I'm going to come up around, and again, I can't cross these streams here, so I'm going to go in between. Right, somewhere like this, okay? So this is basically the watershed area. That means that any raindrop or anything that falls inside of this circle will find its way eventually, if it's not used or anything, into Plaster Creek. If it falls on the outside of it, right, it's going to go somewhere else, right? So this is the high area that surrounds it. Okay, so this, all right, is going to be called our divide. I can even just, you can't see that up there. Oh, right here. This is our divide. Okay. So that means everything inside is part of the Plaster Creek watershed. So I'm just going to kind of color this lightly in. Pink. So any drop of water, all right, that falls here will eventually end up into Plaster Creek. Okay, number 3, let's look at the direction of flow. Using arrows, show the direction of flow of Plaster Creek to the Grand River. What direction does Plaster Creek generally flow? So here's the Grand River, and all this is going to flow here. So any drop of water really that kind of flow, that it's here, and if you remember, we observed that it flows in the north direction. So we kind of draw some arrows here. I can use a different color to show flow. Doesn't matter which color really. So I'm just going to grab green here. So we can kind of see it's generally flowing this way. And again, any drop of water is going to flow into one of these little tributaries or into Plaster Creek and head in this direction. And this is going to be, if we look up here, we kind of look at that direction. It's kind of this general northwest kind of path. So anything that kind of falls in here, all right, will fall into one of these and will eventually flow this way into one of these streams and then down, all right, into Plaster Creek and eventually to the Grand River. And the Grand River flows in this direction here. You can kind of see, mark it right there, past Millennium Park. And this will actually eventually flow out to Lake Michigan. So this is Lake Michigan out here.